Alright guys, today we have a Plat 5 Ana on Kings Row. There's a little bit of Baptiste gameplay as well, but it's like 80% Ana. He says, self-reviewed most of this game, feel like his main weaknesses are inconsistent mechanics, for example, bad aim while playing Bap, and positioning. Also, I seem to get lost in what's happening sometimes. They also mentioned that they recently climbed from silver, and they don't have too much time on the game yet. So we're going to watch this one through, see what goes. Flex support is my main role, so these are two characters that I love to play, and hopefully it can help you improve as well. So you have a hog, and you gotta notice when you have a hog that if they have an Ana, it's gonna be really tough for you guys to kind of play the game in general. But since hog is pretty strong in the meta right now, you'll see a lot of hog on the enemy team as well. Just something to think about how Ana interacts with hog. But you guys don't have a Kiriko to cleanse, so you don't really have to worry about it too much. You're just gonna play how you play. Alright, first death. You're definitely out of position here, right? And so you're trying to, I get it, you're trying to stay up where you can see your team. Because you want to be able to help your team, right? But this position, like, let's just look at this fundamentally, right? You're kind of out in the middle of the open, and anyone in this archway can shoot you really easily. And so you could back up to here, right, to take cover from these people, but then you're kind of stranded on this island, and it's really hard for you to survive here because you, they can come around here without you even realizing anything's happening, or they can come around here, so it's really hard to survive. You want to be playing farther back. The problem with playing farther back is, I mean, look where your team is, right? You have 4 people playing very close. So in a situation like this, which is pretty unique, one thing you could do is you could play in hotel. I don't love this one either, right? Because your Roadhog will sometimes be not like playing near you, so he's not in your line of sight. He's not here or here. Or you can try and play default, right? Default is back here. You just got to make sure you know, like if they come through this choke, you have to have a retreat angle. So if they come through here, you have to walk back, maybe try and kite around back to your team. But regardless, you don't want to be out in the open, right? That's what you don't want to be doing. You could even play like behind this car. I don't love this either, but definitely where you are is not where you need to be. You eat a bunch of poke damage and Sojourn Z at the same time. Alright, and so now that you got revived, I want to see you fix your positioning, right? Alright, you know how to quickscope? That's good. This is all fine. We're going to be looking for offensive cooldowns here, right? So trying to get your nade in. We're going to be looking for trying to do damage as well. Good sleep. I wish your team had waited a little bit longer. Maybe your Roadhog could have hooked. But throwing your sleep aggressively and throwing your nade aggressively is what you generally want to be doing, right? So sometimes it's good to save the sleep when they have a lot of ults. So if they're getting close to Reaper ult or they're getting close to maybe D.Va bomb, you can sleep Baby D.Va to get the kill on her. You can sleep Reaper and ult, stuff like that. But in general, throwing your sleep is good because it can get picks, right? If you sleep somebody in the middle of the fight, you have a hog can get easy picks. So throwing your sleep aggressively, throwing your nade aggressively, it's pretty good. I still don't love your position here, right? You're just too close. You can do everything at range, right? So a little too close for me, but your team is very aggressive and you're kind of matching that with them. So it is what it is. Good nade, right? You almost get punished, almost, right? And you kind of see they kind of dive on you and then they give up, but if that Reaper didn't get melted so quickly and that D.Va had stayed focused on you, you might be dead. Your aim is pretty good. I see you aiming for the Baby D.Va. I love it. Alright, you die again. You're out in the middle of the open again. Sojourn punishes you for it. You actually are standing in her slow. So I don't know if you just didn't realize it was there, or it just took you a while to get out of it. But it's the second time where you kind of stood in here, took a lot of poke damage, and then died. And this time Mercy doesn't have res because she just res your Kree, who is way over here. You know, I don't love your team's positioning either, but this is a completely preventable death. You could be playing any number of places that aren't literally right. Like, look at this. I mean, so yeah, avoidable death, but it happens. I just hope you realize it's avoidable and it doesn't happen again. If you continue to make the same positioning mistakes, that's something you're gonna want to think about. Okay, this is maybe what you're thinking about when you say you're getting a little lost, right? So you kind of didn't realize he was there, and then when you did realize he was there, you didn't know what to do about it. Your May gets dropped while the rest of your team runs back. And I don't hate what you're doing this fight, right? Like, it's pretty good, but you shot the hog a couple times too many, right? You could have saved your Kree, but your hog died, your Kree dies. Good sleep. You don't want to have to nade yourself there. Good nade. You force Wraith, and now try and get the kill. Nice. Alright, I like your sleeps. Generally, I like your nades too. You're using your cooldowns aggressively. It's good. You're going to climb. Your aiment's pretty good as well. So your positioning has been the main problem so far, but there's also been a couple target prioritization issues where, you could have saved your Kree earlier. And then when you threw nade on point, it kind of felt like you just looked at point and threw it instead of being deliberate. So right here, after Cass dies, right? Well, one, let's just say we can keep Cass up here, because we can. You had nade, and you don't want to throw nade defensively, right? You really want to be throwing your anti-nades, but let's just say we keep Cass up, because it's something we could have done. You could be throwing anti here, you could be throwing anti past here, right? And you could hit their Ana and maybe their Sojourn. You could wait one more second, right? You could probably hit their Baptiste too, so that could have been a fight-changing nade. If you hit two of these targets, or even one of these targets, they die. You guys get the baby diva anyways, but this fight is super winnable. Like, imagine if Cass was here with you, and you anti one of these, this fight's over. But they end up stabilizing as a team, coming back. And we've seen the rest of this fight already. We kind of know what happens. Yep, you throw your nade defensively, it's okay. Like, if someone's gonna die and you can save them, you want to. I do want to mention you should be quickscoping a little more than you are, right? So when you're shooting Sojourn, right, her hitbox is very weird. When she strafes, it kind of moves everywhere as an Ana. And it's very difficult to hit. It's better to quickscope targets like this. It's just much easier, to hit your shots when you're hit scan and not projectile, especially on these small, fast-moving targets. At this point, I don't know if you will track. If you don't, it's something you can think about. Just like even just one player in the enemy team, right? That your sleep is very relevant to. Have they used reroll? No, they haven't, right? You've been alive the whole time. You died once, but you walked back and you didn't hear reroll. He hasn't used it. Whether you're thinking about it or not, I don't know. But he hasn't used it. And so you should be thinking, where is Reaper? In Plat and Gold and even Diamond, Reapers love to do this. Like, they teleport behind or they walk behind and then they kind of like jump down and just press Q and get a team kill, or they do what this guy's doing. And you should save your sleep for that. Otherwise, I do like throwing sleep aggressively, but here you should be saving it. I love the play. Honestly, even though you miss, right? Even though you miss, you heard his footsteps. Someone pinged him. Maybe it was you. I don't know. You heard his footsteps though. And you threw the sleep and you missed, but it happens, right? That would have been a huge impactful play, and the fact that you even try to make it is really good. And if you keep doing stuff like that, you're gonna climb. So I love that. Next fight. You're out of position here. You're not gonna get punished for it, right? But you're walking a little too close. You can do all of your damage and all of your healing from any number of places, like way back here. You just don't need to be in their face to do it. Also, small thing, when no one needs healing, and right now they do because the diva just kind of did a bunch of burst damage to you guys, and your mercy's not here, I believe. Yeah, your mercy's not here. So you're gonna be healing a lot this fight, but generally you can be doing damage. Anytime that your teammates don't need healing, you want to be focusing on doing damage, right? Heal botting doesn't work in Overwatch 2 like it did in Overwatch 1. You only have one tank. Your Roadhog can heal himself. I'm not saying don't heal, but I'm saying if they don't need healing, you should be focusing on doing damage. You can 3-tap a squishy target. It's very strong. Yep. You waste your nade. It happens. You try and throw a sleep, but he kind of gets behind you, right? And now he's been behind twice. And you need to start thinking about, oh, this Reaper likes to go behind. Let's try and make a note of where he is in these fights. You should be thinking that, right? He's gone behind and killed you twice, and now it's time to think about, well, is he behind, right? Alright, let's talk a little bit about Bap, just a little bit, right? Your left shift ability and your lamp, both on very long cooldowns. 15 seconds and like 25 seconds or something crazy like that. Your shift heals 100 HP plus 50 over 5 seconds if they're under 50% HP. If they're over 50% HP, they get healed for 50 immediately and then 50 over time. So ideally, you want to be using your shift when they're under 50% HP, but if they're about to take a huge chunk of incoming damage, it's okay to use it early. And then your lamp is to save people. You pretty much get one lamp per fight, so you know when they're full rail charge and you're not sure whether she's about to hit a headshot or not, you can throw a lamp. When Diva Bomb throws lamp, you can throw a lamp during Reaper ult, but it's not, you know, it's not ideal because he will destroy the lamp in like a quarter of a second or so, and then you know you'll have 20 HP left at that point, and then your HP will die. So it gives you like a very small window to do something, maybe like for your hog to hit a hook. But yeah, you want to be like, both of your cooldowns are very strong and they're very important. You think your shift may just be extra healing, but you want to be paying attention to when you're using both cooldowns. You also want to be very careful about how much you're crouch jumping. Diva can fly up and hit you in the air, and your movement path will be very predictable for the Sojourn. So you don't want to be jumping up too much, right? You're not going to be safe in the air by any means. So there's no real reason to be jumping a ton. So that's what we're going to look for. You're looking around for him, right? You know he's there, but you just don't know where. And so your awareness is like, it's decent, right? That there's someone there. Maybe there was a call out, right? It feels like someone called it out and even got pinged, but you're just a little slow to figure out what's going on exactly. You know something's going on, so work on that. That's not really something to teach. I'm okay with this aggro play, honestly, going up here and fighting him. I'm not okay with you throwing lamp, especially when you're 200 HP, right? The Reaper can one-shot you, but he has to be like right up in your face. And so you're still pretty safe there. He's low. He uses Wraith, right? And you're still fine. So you use your shift like super early. Super early. You're like pretty much still full HP at this point. And you throw your lamp. And right, you just burn both of your important cooldowns when you're not really under too much threat here. So again, it's not the worst lamp I've ever seen, but maybe it's just a little bit early. Now you don't have either of your cooldowns in case you need them. You waste your shift again. And your team is taking some damage, right? So your Sigur's half, he's got an Ana, but like this guy's gonna have to run all the way back to spawn, right? If he wants to get healed, he's got to come to here. So I mean, just a little bit of awareness, right? Just check your surroundings a little bit more. You can throw a couple shots back here and heal that guy. But I like aggression. The aim's not there, right? And you overstay your welcome. So taking a couple shots is good, but you're just kind of shooting. Your teammates are dying behind you. They're not actually dying, but right, like 50 HP Kree, you know, 90 HP Ana, half HP Sig. And you just could be getting more value elsewhere. So like aggression is good, but you have to know when and where. It's not just always aggression, right? So you get punished for it. You try and throw a lamp for Sig, you miss. It happens. And you kind of die while you're stalling. I would have liked if you stayed like farther back, right? You can still hit your shots on Sig from here. You were getting pushed by D.Va, but going to the cart, especially when your tank is contesting, is not really going to help things, right? Like there's going to be more people in cart, more of a chance for you to die. So you should have stayed back here, but it is, you know, you're stalling. You're probably not thinking too much about it. You could have gotten lamp, maybe turn the fight, but it's too late now. Everyone gets antied, and this has got to be the end, right? Yep, and they push it in. End of round 1, right? Main thing to look at right now is positioning. You have a lot of like silly deaths, and so when you are dying first as support, it's going to be really hard for your team to sustain during the fight, which usually leads to your team dying. And so staying alive in the fight is kind of all you need to be doing to be getting more value. The first way to improve is always to have less silly deaths. So you can clean up that a lot. That'll help. You are good, like you aggress a lot, which is good. You don't want to be a heal bot, but you need to pick your spots better, right? So when you go for aggression, you need to think about like, am I going to be able to live if I take this fight here? And what resources is it going to take away from my team? So if your team is fighting 5v5 and your tank is taking a ton of damage, right? That's not the time to go aggressive. You need to heal your tank. The time to go aggressive is when maybe it's a little bit more of a downtime, or you guys are like up a man, or your tank is full health in the middle of the fight, right? So pick your spots and stay a little more safe. This kind of ties into positioning, right? If you're being aggressive out of position, you're going to get punished for it, just like you did. But overall, it's a pretty good round, especially on Ana. I think your Ana is a lot better than your Baptiste, at least for now, right? You can always work on it. But, you know, your cooldown management on Baptiste needs a little bit of work, whereas your Ana cooldowns seem very strong. You're throwing sleep when you need to. You're throwing nade when you need to. For a Plat level, I think your Ana aim was very, pretty solid. So, I actually like what I see in the first round. There is some stuff to clean up on for sure, though. We're going to try and speed up the next couple rounds. I'm not sure how many there are exactly. But we're not going to spend like an hour and a half while reviewing this. It's been 7 minutes, and this recording's probably already getting fairly long. So, alright, we're back on Ana on attack. They have a Sim now and a D.Va. Same mistake, not much to say here. You're just out in the open and you get punished for it. You may think your Zarya is going in, but you didn't need to be here. You throw a good nade, but if you're dead, it doesn't matter. You might get res here, you might not. Either way, right? You just don't need to be here. You can be farther back. Could be over here, right? You can still throw nades from here, but not much to say. Same mistake. You can tell that there's sim turrets. And your attention is away from your Zarya for too long, right? So this anti-nade is 3 or 4 seconds long on your cast, and you kind of stand there and just look at him and wait for it to go away when he's in cover and he's safe, right? And your Zarya's out here brawling. And so because you take your attention away, and your Mercy also takes her attention away, your Zarya dies, and this pushes over, your Zarya has no energy. There's no more res. So this is like a 20-second stall because your attention was taken away from where it needed to be, right? You needed to be looking at this Zarya. Your cast was safe behind a wall. He was going to get healed. But this Zarya was not. He was taking fire. That cost you guys 20 seconds plus your Zarya's energy. which means your grab charge is going to be late. Alright, aggression is good. I'm just going to caution you, right? When you're doing things like these, you want to be careful. Sim is spamming down this choke. They have railgun. You have no tank, right? You just got to be careful. You got to pick your spots. Because you could get punished here. I don't think you will, but you could. Good, right? That was good. Your tank's there, your team is shooting, and you contribute to a kill. Well, like, before I say it, what do you think I'm going to say, right? What do you think I'm going to say? Right here. You know, there's just, you're going for the nade, there's just no reason to be this far in front of your tank, this far in front of your team. So yeah, positioning needs a lot of work. I think, you know, your idea is good, right? Hit nade onto multiple targets, win fight. Very good. Now you just need to be safe when you do it so that you're not going to die for it. Not really too much to say. Nice try with the nade. Again, nice nade. This is good aggression, right? This is good. This is when you want to be aggressive. Your tank is fine. You know, almost full health with a mercy pocket. Your DPS are fine. Good time to do damage, right? You hit the nade, you hit a shot, and if you had hit one more shot there, the Ana dies. It's a really good attempt. You actually get their lamp out. You don't know it, but you get their lamp out, so. Now, I'd love to see you back up here. Just in the line of fire. They also have railgun charge. You should be respecting railgun charge, right? When this guy has full charge, you want to be respecting that. But you don't need to be this close. It's good to hit nades this close, but you can do everything you're doing there from anywhere over here, right? You could be here. You could... there's just a couple better spots, right? And so I don't want you to die here, because if you die here, you know, this fight might be over for your team when you guys should be able to win. Good nade. Good damage. Yep. That's great. Your team cleans up. Alright. You sleep the Nano Ryan, that's huge. This is good, right? You're putting pressure on that Mei, and after, I mean, you sleep Nano Ryan, you basically win the fight for your team. Of course, your Deadeye gets 2 kills, which you could say won the fight, but, you know, that Nano Ryan could just walk in, mouse win your whole team, and you all die. That sleep is huge, and then you put pressure on this Mei, you force out Ice Block. Really good stuff. You hit a couple shots that are going to keep your Zarya alive, but they get a huge res. I think they... Wait, no, it wasn't them. You guys tried to get res, didn't you? Yeah, your Mercy goes in for a res in their back line, actually. And she kind of tosses, right? She just dies here. And you're trying everything you can to keep Zarya alive, but you get a headshot. This fight goes downhill, right? You should have won this fight. I'm not going to say that it was exactly your fault, because I don't think it was. You played pretty well this fight. You know, there's still room to improve, of course, but I think in general that fight was good for you. You hit the sleep when you needed to, you aggressed when you needed to, you hit a couple shots on your Zarya to keep her alive with charge. Good nade. I was a little scared your Zarya was going to die, and I wish you nade earlier, right? So... there's a couple things you could do here as a play. After that hammer down, right? You probably know he's going to be pinning here, especially when you see it. You have sleep and nade, and your Zarya looks to be weak, right? She is able to die from a pin right now. Your Mercy, thank God, your Mercy is healing your Zarya, which keeps her alive. But you should be trying everything you can to keep the Zarya alive before the pin, right? So you could throw nade here to hit both tanks and get her above the threshold where she would die, right? And so she does anyways. You can see she just barely lives. But if she had died here, you could have thrown that nade a little bit earlier, kept her alive. You could have also thrown sleep. It would have been harder. because you didn't have as much time to react, and Sleep has a 0.4 second like wind up, right? But you throw the nade anyways, and it is a huge nade. You get their tank, and that should hopefully win you this fight. Of course, anything can still go. It's Overwatch 2. They're only down 1. But with a 100 charge Zarya and they have no front line, you should just kind of run them over now. And now you should be looking to do some, maybe a little more aggression, a little more damage, right? Because you have the advantage, and your team is pretty safe. You can, okay, your Zarya gets bubble. Quick note, just very quick note, you can actually shoot people's feet under the payload. So right here, you're kind of looking what to do. You can actually just barely see her feet, and you can shoot her feet and heal her, even if you can't see her. Especially like if she gets caught in this blizzard, let's say she freezes right here. Let's say she doesn't have bubble. You can just sit here and scope in on her feet and keep her alive through that. So. You're not really in a position to heal her, and then you miss a shot and she dies. You know, a little bit too far back this time. Not able to heal your tank, but she also goes in pretty far. Not exactly your fault. Good aggression, good anti-nade.
No one can hide from my sight.
Nice try with the nade. Your Widow's hitting headshots, kind of winning the fights for you. Yep. You have both cooldowns, Ryan pins in, free kill. Like actually free kill. They do have rail active, right? Overclock, and you need to respect this overclock, but you guys are in a pretty good position here. As long as you respect this overclock. You nano to keep her alive more. I mean, she's high charge, right? This is a good nano, but if you're not sure if you're going to be able to heal somebody, you can just dump nano on them, and then they're kind of good for a couple seconds on their own. Allow you to reposition. That's a huge anti-nade, right? And your damage is good. This is great. For Plat 5, this is awesome. I love seeing the damage. I love seeing these aggressive anti-nades. These will help you climb much into the higher ranks, as long as you fix your positioning. Again, big anti, you could have waited a second there and hit both tanks. You could have hit your tank as well, but it's not going to end up mattering. It's just like a small optimization, right? If you waited a second, you could have hit both. And if your Zarya had died here, it would have been on you. But anyways, she lives. And this is still a good fight for you, right? Yep, I love this. Good aggression. That's not your job, right? Your job is to keep your team alive at this point, and if everyone's healed up to do damage, you can just hug the left window, hug the left wall, and just kind of ignore this guy. He's not really doing anything to you. And the last thing you want to do is peek him, and he kind of hits a little dink on your head. So I would hug this left wall, heal up your tank, shoot the people that you can shoot. Just kind of forget about him. Yep. You have both your cooldowns. You do what you need to do. Big sleep. Your crew can't see him though. Would have been a big sleep. And now this is all great. This is super good, right? You're doing damage when you need to do damage. You're healing. I'd like to see you back up a little bit, be a little bit safer doing it, but this is all really, really good. Good damage. Like you're quick scoping. Nice try with the sleep. And at this point, your ascension is off your tank a little too long, and it's fine because nothing's going on here. But you need to like think, right? Is my team okay? If you haven't been looking at your team for 4 or 5 seconds, you don't know what's going on here. So I know you're dueling here, but even just a quick head check, right? Are they okay? Like, are they safe? Do they need heals? Would have been a little better here. Good aggression. Really good shots. Nice try. I want to see you. Yep. Keep your Zarya up. Sleep. Good. There's still that BAP up there, right? He's not really your job, but if he's focusing you and you're in scope, you're going to die. You want to be like here, right? You could be a lot safer than you are right now. And luckily, he's not looking at you, but if he was, you would be in big trouble right now. Now you're whiffing a little bit, right? Good sleep. But I think you guys could have closed this out already. You know, if you hit your nades or if you kept your teammates alive, maybe you guys could have won this already. You guys are gonna win this next fight, right? Because there's no overtime, but could have been over. Gotta be real careful. So I like how you're quick scoping and then immediately moving, but this isn't gonna fly in higher elo, right? That Widow is really looking to hit a shot, especially on you. So it is okay to just, especially if the Widow doesn't know where you're gonna shoot from, peek out, quick scope, you're in, right? But kind of sitting out here like quick scope, run, it's very dangerous. And staying scoped in is definitely not what you want to do. Nice sleep. I like how you ignore the ball after you sleep him, right? You can't do anything to him right now. Better to heal your team or damage somebody else. So this is all really good stuff. I actually am very impressed by your Ana play. Nice try. You haven't really done much this fight, but it is what it is. You've been playing well the whole game. Nice. I'm not going to go into the overtime. It's a lot of the same stuff. But your play on Ana is very solid. Let's just go and talk about like kind of a recap of the game, right? Alright, so first of all, playing safe is going to be by far the single biggest improvement to your gameplay that you can do. So it of course depends on the map, it depends on what team comps are being played, but you have like a sniper playstyle, right? You can be super far away and still do everything you need to do. And I'm not saying always you don't need to be like 50 meters from your team on the longest sight line you can find. And sometimes it's even good to be close to your team, right? If they have tracer and ball, you want to be kind of like with your tank, because those people are going to hunt you down on your own. But in these brawl style matches with Ana, you can be farther back. It's going to be very hard for them to get onto you, and you can be very safe. You can throw your cooldowns from far, you can heal from far, you can do damage from far. You do want to be able to see both teams, right? So you want to be able to see the enemy and be able to see your team. Aside from a few notable exceptions like railgun with charge, you don't want to look at that. Widow, you don't want to look at that. Hanzo, you want to be very careful about staying scoped in too long versus characters like that. But all of this was pretty decent. The things you're doing right. The things you're doing very good. You are aggressive as a support, which is going to take you a long way. Heal botting is not the move, and you are not a heal bot. You do damage. You throw anti-nades. You throw sleep. You paid attention to when you heard stuff behind you, right? And you tried to figure out where it was coming from. You weren't always fast enough about this, right? But the fact that you're aware, you will get better at identifying things like this over time, right? So when you realize the Reaper's behind you and you try and sleep him during ult, that's huge. When you realize that someone, you know, on, I believe it was on defense on third point, there was someone like up above you on the right side high ground, and someone pinged him, and as Bap, you jumped up there and you tried to fight him down. I'm okay with that. Another thing you can work on, especially on Baptiste, is your cooldown management, right? You have two very long cooldowns that are both very important and very impactful, and I think you're using them too liberally. So I want to see you tighten up your cooldown management on Baptiste. On Ana, I think it was fine. You still have two very impactful cooldowns, but your nade comes back, you know, fast enough, right? And your sleep is just such a high impact ability, right? If you hit sleep, you can get picks for your team. You can shut down ults, right? So saving sleep in some instances is fine, especially when you start ult tracking more, when you know that they have High Noon, when you know that they have Death Blossom, when you know that they have Shatter, things like that. Then saving sleep becomes fine, but when you're not thinking about that too much, it's okay to throw sleep to try and get picks. If you sleep somebody out in the open and your team can follow up, it's huge. So you play very well, honestly. I know you mentioned that you were worried about your aim, and maybe I think you mentioned that your mouse was, you know, not very high quality and you were looking at upgrading. I wouldn't worry about that too much. You whiffed a little bit on BAP, but that's okay. You don't hit every shot. Your on aim was pretty good, you know, pretty solid. You know how to quick scope. You know when to scope in. You know when to shoot your projectiles, right? All that looks really good. I just say position more, a little smarter. You don't need to be staring at a Sojourn. You don't need to be in front of your tank. You don't need to be the first one into the fight, right? And so if you clean up these mistakes and you live more, you're inherently going to get a lot more value. You're going to do a lot more work during these fights. You're going to be able to throw a lot more aggressive nades. You're going to be able to keep your team alive longer. And that will carry you a long ways on its own. So that's all I have for today. I got this code off of the Overwatch University subreddit. If you guys want to get your gameplay review, the best way to do that is to join my Discord and submit your code in the VOD review request channel. The link for that will be down in the description. Yeah, and that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and more importantly, I hope you guys learned something today, and I'll catch you in the next one.